All right, what's up, everybody? This is I'm Tyler, and this is Addict, and this is Over the Ropes. This is gonna be a new...
Man, we need some more energy, man. It's like, what's going on, you guys? I'm Tyler. This is Addict, and you are watching Over the Ropes. Talking about what's that shit we just watched? Smackdown on the 3rd. I don't know if there's like a name for the specific program.
It's Friday Night Smackdown, all right? So listen.
Friday Night Smackdown, there we go.
This is how the show's going to go, all right? I am a diehard wrestling fan. My name's Tyler. I have been watching wrestling literally my whole life, so 33 years now. That's my boy Addict. He is a YouTuber, unlike me, who's just a random guy who likes to watch some wrestling. And he doesn't know wrestling, and he doesn't know jack crap.
Don't say it that way. Nah, we don't need that. I don't want to ever hear you say that again.
And he don't know nothing about wrestling. So, the whole premise of this show...
I know John Cena.
Oh, he knows...
It's disingenuous to say I don't know nothing.
He knows the two actors who were wrestlers once. So again,
you're not wrong there. You're not wrong.
He don't know jack crap about wrestling. So
the
well, actually, that's a good one. Everybody loves some book. So, anyways, the premise of the show is going to be that diehard wrestling fan watching it with somebody who's never watched it, and we're going to do reviews of Monday Night Raw, Wednesday Night Dynamite, and then Friday Night Smackdown. I know there's NXT. I know there's Collision, but no shot in hell we're watching Collision. And we'll get into NXT down the road.
Collision sounds devastating.
It's on Saturday nights. It's, I think, 2 hours? I don't know, but it's not. It gets like 300K views a week. It's not worth the watch. Sorry, AEW fans.
Until you do 300K, you can't clown on their 300K.
Sorry, AEW fans, but no shot in hell we're watching Collision right now. And we'll get to NXT.
Go away, man. Put in the comment section. Tell us why you feel that way.
Right. So this is gonna be the first show. We decided to start this week because obviously SmackDown went to 3 hours. Monday night is
that an every week thing?
Yes. Yep. So this was the first week. It was a big show. And so let's go over the news. We're going to do any news before we go through the review. Obviously, this is the first show. We don't really have a lot of news this week, especially with him because Addict doesn't know a lot. So, like, I could go over the New Japan stuff, but he's going to look at me like I'm...
What's the New Japan stuff?
Exactly. So, New Japan is the biggest Japanese wrestling company. They had their, like, WrestleMania, essentially, Wrestle Kingdom. And it's way too advanced for you right now. We'll get in that down the line. But so, like I said, Addict here has been in the YouTube realm for how long now?
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. I've done a little bit here and there, especially with him, but yeah, it's my first forte in this, so we'll see how this goes. So news for the week, Mr. Addict. I got some numbers I want to run by you. You tell me how you feel about it. So obviously last night, Tiffany Stratton cashed in her Money in the Bank and became women's champion, which
yeah, she's easy on the eyes. I'm Team Tiffany. So
everybody loves some Tiffy time. Her Instagram reel of her cashing in her Money in the Bank has already hit 4 million views in 13 hours. So how do you feel about those numbers?
It's pretty high numbers. It's not really high for like Instagram people that have consistent viewership and a following on Instagram. And especially someone from like her perspective, where she's like in the WWE, those are respectable numbers. But as far as like saying those are like crazy numbers on Instagram, probably not for someone like her. I'm sure she's had like way bigger viral. It's going viral regardless, but I'm sure she's had way bigger viral posts than that.
Right. On Instagram video, WWE's IG alone. Different. On IG, WWE's IG alone, Tiffany's Money in the Bank cash in and any video that attains to the women's title content has already done 12.3 million views just since last night when we watched the show.
And it's a Saturday.
Yeah. So the other two notes I have right now, speaking of people The Rock, when he came back to WWE last year, we knew he got stock in TKO, the company that owns WWE. It was reported this weekend that as of right now, The Rock has over $14 million worth of TKO stock. So
TK is the people that own UFC too, right?
Yep, UFC and WWE. So
isn't that kind of like a monopoly?
No. They're two different companies. UFC's Combat Sports, WWE Sports Entertainment. Plus, there's AEW, which is the company that we'll check out on Wednesdays, and they're pretty big. Their owner, his dad, owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, the NFL team, so he got boatloads of cash. So. And then the last thing of news, Ric Flair thinks he has another match in him. First off,
Ric Flair is like older than dirt. I can't. You don't even need to go into that. No, Ric Flair, you don't.
No, he don't. His last match, which was last year, he literally had 2 heart attacks in the middle of the match.
Man, he must be broke.
I don't think he's broke. I think he crazy, man. That's all. He's a wrestler through and through. He don't care.
What's he, 93, 94?
Off the top of my head, I don't know how old he is, but he's look it up. How old is he? Tell us how old he is. He got to be 80s, 70s.
How old is Ric Flair?
What do we got?
Is it senior?
No, just Ric Flair.
75 years old.
75 years old. Dude had 2 heart attacks in this last match. Literally passed out on the side of the ring. And did they keep going like nothing happened? From my understanding, I didn't order that shit. I wasn't paying money to watch a dude halfway die in the middle of the ring. So
was it not in WWE?
No, absolutely not. WWE would not put him in the ring right now. No. It was his son-in-law did like a little pay-per-view thing for him. His son-in-law does a lot of podcasts.
Indie stuff?
No, he does like wrestling podcasts, and he's great at it. I love Conrad's podcast. So, but yeah, so those are really all the notes that we have. Every week we're going to hit any news or notes before we do the reviews of the shows. Obviously it's a little light today because there's a lot of things that Addict don't know, people he doesn't know. You'll see as we go through the segments. He's literally learning as he watches. So this week's SmackDown was really probably the first full SmackDown he watched from start to end and paid attention. I think I've
seen a couple with you in the past.
So, but hold on a second. Hold on.
Like I remember, I used to like the most I've ever like really been consistent is like I don't know what they were called. Maybe the Shield. I don't know. Maybe that's their name. The Shield. It was like the people that they were jumping people and like Royal Rumbles and stuff. I can't remember what it was because I was watching that with you, and that's when it was going down. I don't know if you can.
It could have been the Shield. It could have been. Who knows? There's been so
because
many.
There's like a leader that I remember. I watched the Royal Rumble with you once. It was a long time ago, and like the leader came out first, and he had to survive till he got a couple of his people out, and then they just started throwing people out immediately. I think it might have been Roman Reigns.
No, I think that was the Nexus. I think that was a long time ago. I know what
Nexus sounds about. Nexus. That sounds.
I think that was the 40-man Royal Rumble, which was a terrible Royal Rumble. Anyways, so tonight's episode or last night's, because we're filming this on Saturday, a little later than we normally would like to, but yesterday's SmackDown was the first 3-hour SmackDown of this new era with Raw going to Netflix and SmackDown going to USA. And I thought the show overall was pretty good. I think Triple H does a lot better with these 3-hour shows than he does the two. When Raw and SmackDown were 2 hours. Huh?
Do you think it's strictly because he has more time to tell a story, or
I think he has more time to tell a story and he has more time to get people on the show. I think when he feels like it's 2 hours, he feels too limited and too rushed to try to get everybody he needs on the show. Obviously, the headline of the show, Tiffy, time, cashes in the Money in the Bank
like
briefcase. They juked me like 3 times. Attic and I are going to be watching these shows every week, and I was like, oh my God, she's cashing in. No, she's not. Oh my God, she's cashing in. They had me all over the place.
They did a good job. They did a good job.
They did do a good job. Yeah, I mean, in other notes, the Bloodline beat the Usos and Sammy, which may tell you what's going to happen on Raw. I told Attic during the match, I said, I feel like whoever wins this, they're going to give away a little bit who might win on Raw, because I have a real hard time believing Solo is going to beat Jay on Friday and then Roman on Monday. That's
I mean, because technically the dude who he's fighting is like the heel of like their story arc, right?
Solo is the guy that won last night.
So, do you think it's possible that they let Roman lose Monday so they can like make that stakes higher later on?
They could if they're going to drag this out, but for some reason I have a feeling.
What has it already been doing?
What's up?
How long's this little arc already went on?
Well, probably SummerSlam, so August. I feel like this is supposed.
Oh, so it's been going for a minute.
Yeah. Roman and Cody lost to Solo and Jacob, and then Roman's team won at War Games, and I feel like this is the finale.
So how long would they normally do stuff like this? Like with like. Because even when Vince was in charge, I'm assuming, not necessarily that Triple H is going to take some of like what Vince done, but I assume Triple H had some form of creative control even when Vince was around. Like how long do they normally do these type of story arcs? Does any of them go past a year, or do they usually try to wrap things, start, middle, and end in one like calendar year?
I mean, it really depends. Triple H has been dragging stories out. Like, you'll see on Raw that Damian Priest and Finn Balor feel like they're in a forever feud. Frankly, Triple H kind of drags them out a little too long at times. But I mean, we're coming up on the Rumble. And then once the Rumble hits, it's planning for WrestleMania. So, I don't
When's WrestleMania?
Beginning of April. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, so I don't see them. I feel like this has to be the end because
you know what happens, Tyler. We build up over the ropes where they invite you to WrestleMania.
Oh, that's right. I mean, it's in Vegas this year, right? Yeah, Vegas this year. So But anyway, so we're gonna go and do a rundown of the show, and we'll talk about each segment. We'll get Addict's thoughts and first opinions of wrestlers and things like that, and we'll see how they go as the weeks go on. So they introduce us.
They introduced us to what?
Okay, so the show starts with a review over last week with Cody and KO jumping him, them setting up the ladder match for the Rumble. So the first segment, Cody comes out, cuts a promo, talking about Kevin, the things he's going to do to him, the ladder match at the Rumble. Then Drew McIntyre.
Was KO the dude that said no, whatever his name was, or was that a different dude?
So KO is the guy who came out and jumped Cody after Drew came out. The guy in the t-shirt.
He was the old U.S. champion, right?
No. We're talking.
Or am I confusing the two?
Yeah, you're confusing the two. So the first segment was Cody, the world champion, and he came out, cut the promo, and then.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah. I know who you're
and then Drew McIntyre comes out and hugs him, which Cody looks real confused about. And Drew says, "Hey, I'm not going to attack you. I don't want to fight you." I'm assuming he hugged him because Cody took the belt away from Roman. And obviously Drew has his beef with Roman.
Can you give me some backstory on why they had beef?
Yeah, I mean, Roman was the leader of the Bloodline. I mean, it's the same reason
Because he be talking like he slept with his damn wife.
No. Definitely nothing like that. But, I mean, when the Bloodline were bad, they were beating everybody down. It's the same reason Cody and KO are feuding, because Roman and the Bloodline made Drew and Kevin Owens' life miserable. And then after Roman lost and decided he was going to go up against Solo and the Bloodline, Cody had his back, and Drew and Kevin Owens think that's ridiculous because Roman's not a nice guy and hasn't been a nice guy, so they just don't think it makes sense that people would instantly go back to helping Roman once he kind of apologizes, even though he didn't actually apologize for crap, which is kind of their beef with him.
So how long has this feud been?
Cody and KO have been a couple months now. They had a match at Saturday night's main event recently, which is the one that Kevin Owens stole the belt that they were referencing. And then Drew and Punk have had a rivalry for quite a while. And now that that's over, Drew has been jumping at Sammy, both Usos, pretty much anybody who has any kind of relationship with Roman. So Drew tells Cody to watch his back. Kevin Owens comes out, jumps him again. Pull apart brawl again. Triple H loves his pull apart brawls. We all know that.
That's when the hate goes deep, man. Like, you not only are you gonna get it, anyone that's even said your name gonna get it.
That's right. Drew literally said that on Raw. He said, if you have ever helped out Roman or Punk, you're getting Claymored. You're getting kicked in the mouth. So the first segment is pretty good. I love Cody. Frankly, I love Kevin Owens. Drew's been doing great work for the past year now. It'll be interesting to see. I think Cody wins the ladder match at the Rumble right now. I think Cody goes into WrestleMania as champ. I think they're probably setting up Randy and Kevin Owens for WrestleMania because KO took out Randy Orton before Cody.
Let me ask you a question. Like, the fact that you could say that and be right a lot of the times, does that ever bother you as being like a fan that like their stories are easy to decipher before it even happens?
No, because I've been watching it for so long. And as long as it's a good story, I'm great. Like, if Randy comes back, he starts beating the hell out of Kevin Owens every week, and he's like, this is what you get for jumping me, chump. Like, that's a good, entertaining story. I don't care if I saw that was potentially going to happen. So, no, it doesn't really bother me. I feel like people who have been watching wrestling for a long time can definitely tell where they might be heading with a story. And if you're like me, you probably read dirt sheets. You probably know backstage rumors. Like, there's rumors that Cody might be facing John Cena at WrestleMania this year. I purposely go and look those things out. So, like, that doesn't bother me. I get stuff spoiled for me all the time. But
I'm the same way with like anime. I knew Itachi was evil years before he became it. Like, it doesn't bother the whole thing. Like in gaming, like people will literally leak like whole spreadsheets of all the announcements at like these big events. That doesn't bother me, but I was just wondering because like that, like what you watch wrestling, I would say wrestling's more intimate than like what I do with gaming,
right?
Because like, you're watching them every week, and I was just curious if like sometimes like because you kind of like know where this is going, does it ever bother you to any degree?
No, it doesn't. Again, because it's all about the story. I can watch a movie and tell you that probably at the end the guy's gonna overcome the odds of, happy ending. But if it's a fun ride to get there, that's what. If the story sucks, then I'm gonna be like, this sucks, and I wish you guys surprised me with something better. It's always good to be surprised, like with the Tiffany Stratton thing today, last night. Like, I didn't see that coming, so that was big. And they get me every now and then. I have no idea who's gonna win this Roman and Solo match. I think I do, but that doesn't mean I know. So. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, rumors say that it's going to be Cody and Cena. I've heard Cody and Rock. If Rock's wrestling, like, it could go either way. Personally, I'd rather see Cody and Cena than Cody and Rock. I think that if Rock does wrestle at Mania, it should be against Roman. Get that story done and finish with. They couldn't do last year. They had to give the match to Cody. So just do Rock and Roman this year if Rock's going to be there. Cody and Cena. That's the way I would go. If Rock's not going to be there, I would still do Cody and Cena, and I would do Drew and Roman. The other rumor right now is Roman and Punk. And obviously that's a match I'm sure both of them would love. They're both giant stars. Punk's whole goal of coming back was to main event WrestleMania. If you're wrestling Roman Reigns, you're going to be in one of the two main events. So, what do you think? Would you rather see Cody and Cena, the old face of the company, versus the new? Or would you rather see Rock and Cena? Or Rock and Cody?
I feel like The Rock's had his role, and so is Cena. But Cena is retiring, I assume. That's what I saw on the thing. So to me, it makes more sense to give that to Cena as like, this is most likely your last WrestleMania out the door.
Exactly. So Cena's actually tied for the most world titles in WWE with Ric Flair. They both have 16. So I do see, even if it's not Cody, that Cena wins a world title in this next year and he breaks that record. I know he probably doesn't want to, but if I was WWE, I'd make it happen. But yeah, so Cody comes out, cuts the promo, pretty much saying that he's smashing Kevin Owens at the Rumble. And the ladder match, he's going to get the belts down. I'm not sure which one's hanging. Michael Cole said the Winged Eagle title is going to be hanging. Cody said his belt was going to be hanging. So I don't know if they both are or how that's going to work, but Drew,
is it typical where both are hanging like that?
They do that sometimes. The Winged Eagle belt was only supposed to be for that night, so it makes sense if both belts would be hanging. So yeah, that segment was pretty good. It was a good way to start the show. Obviously, you're going to start it with your world champion Cody Rhodes. Then the Bloodline comes out. I like how they do this, where they, like UFC used to do it back in the day, where it showed the Bloodline entering the arena. It showed Bianca Belair, Naomi entering the arena. Back in the day, UFC used to show the fighters coming in to the arena. WWE started doing that, and I've always been a fan of that. I think that's it makes it feel bigger. It makes the wrestlers feel more important. You know what I'm saying? So then we had our first match of the night. Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States champion, versus Andrade. Shinsuke won with the Kinshasa to the back of the head. So this was the first match of the night. This was the zombie Asian-looking guy. And then
I remember him.
Yeah. And then Andrade was
like the mask, the Shogun mask off in the ring, and
Yep. Match was pretty good. I mean, both of them are so talented. I love Andrade's back in WWE. He's the one that I told you was married to Ric Flair's daughter. After the match, after Shinsuke won, LA Knight, comes out. Comes out and jumps.
That's the dude I was confusing with.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yep. He comes out and jumps Shinsuke, cuts a little promo on him, Everybody loves LA Knight. Like you're gonna realize the more you watch that LA Knight is the most unaware character WWE has. He has no self-awareness. Nothing affects him in any shape, way, or form. He's literally Teflon. Somebody says something that would destroy anybody else, and he's just, yeah, in their face, and then keeps going on with it. Like, he's ridiculous. But incredible. I love LA Knight. What do you remember from this match? Do you remember anything?
I remember that dude was really athletic.
Shinsuke, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, he doing all kinds of spins and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely an entertaining match for sure.
Oh, they're both incredible wrestlers. The more that you watch, the more you'll see just how nuts both of them are. Andrade, hopefully, now that both shows are at 3 hours, is going to get more of a story. He's been back for about a year now. I think he came back at the Rumble last year. And he hasn't really been in any stories. It's mainly just been, he got put in the Ray match at WrestleMania to team up with Ray. And he's been circulating around this U.S. title, but not in any real story. I'd like to see them give him some meaty story to go with. After the match, they have Pretty Deadly being confronted by Apollo Crews. So, Pretty Deadly, the two more flamboyant-looking guys that stood up the tag.
They got the whole match thrown out, didn't they?
Yeah. So, DIY, when they won the tag titles, another tag team was supposed to wrestle Motor City Machine Guns, considered the former champs. And they got jumped. And Pretty Deadly blamed the two guys they were fighting, Humberto and Garza. Or Angel Garza and Humberto. It wasn't them. They lied to help out DIY.
They lied.
Yeah, so that's what they were being confronted about. So after Apollo Crews confronts them, Humberto and Garza confront them. They start pushing and shoving. We go to commercial. We come back. DIY essentially says, hey, you guys help us win. We'll give you a title shot next. And I love this new Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. Like, Ciampa's playing... It's the heel Ciampa from NXT in the way Gargano teaming up, which is incredible because they're just so different, even though they both suck. And I just like that these tag teams are getting real stories that matter. And right now, DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns is a real story that matters with some meat behind it. So then we have match number 2, which was Michin versus Piper Niven. So this was the match with the Asian girl versus the Scottish one. The Scottish girl, the one with the girl on the side with the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Yep. I love Chelsea Green. Now, you didn't get to see much of Chelsea Green because she was just in Piper Niven's corner, but she is so damn entertaining. She's literally one of the best parts of SmackDown right now. Michin, incredible wrestler. That's why she was in the U.S. title final match. Piper Niven's great. Hopefully now, like I said with these tag teams and Andrade, now that things are fully at 3 hours, we start seeing more in-depth stories with some of these women that don't have any right now. But Michin ended up beating Piper Niven. Afterwards, staring Chelsea down. Clearly, they're not done yet. They're going to probably have another match, maybe Saturday night's main event, maybe the Rumble. But Chelsea Green's great at everything she does. Then they had a hype package for Naomi because she had the world title match, and I mean, Naomi's great. I'm pretty sure she's the one who probably jumped Jade. So Naomi, the girl that was wrestling for the tag titles, the one that I said was married to one of the Usos, she was in like the lime green.
I vaguely remember her.
She was in the lime green, had the green in her hair.
Yeah.
So she the girl she's tag team champions with, Bianca, was actually tag team champions with somebody else. It was Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. And right before War Games, Jade got jumped and beat down. Nobody knows who did it. So Naomi ended up stepping in and helping Bianca keep the tag titles. Now they're tag champs. I'm pretty sure Naomi's the one who jumped Jade. Because she jumped Jade. She got...
So, real quick, do they eventually tell who did or something, or is this one of those things like a Lost? You gotta wait 4 years before you find out what happened.
No. Jade, I think, from the rumors, Jade's actually injured. So when Jade comes back, they'll start the story on who jumped her. They'll find, either Jade will say it, or there'll be like backstage footage or something that will be shown. And they'll pick up that story and continue if Jade's actually injured once she's healthy. So we'll see who did it. I think it's Naomi. Some people think it's Bianca Belair, who is her tag team partner. Some people think it was Bayley. So we'll see. But my money's on Naomi because they need to do something more with her. Just the smiling baby face, I'm happy to be back character really never works for anybody. So having her be the one to jump Jade would be a good, meaty story for her to show what she can do. So after that hype video, we have Paul Heyman's promo, which my boy Attic got to see just a sliver of how good Paul Heyman is with his promos.
No, I've seen him before. Not a lot, but I have seen him in the ring before.
So Paul Heyman used to run ECW, which was a Northeastern wrestling promotion. Some of us would call it extremely crappy wrestling because there was really a bunch of out-of-shape guys who threw each other through tables because the wrestling was lacking. But some people love ECW. ECW has a big fan base, and there's some people that came out of there I love. I love the Dudleys.
Is ECW still a thing?
No. That went out of business a long time ago. So Paul Heyman, once that went out of business, he came to work for WWE. He's been part of creative. He's been an on-screen GM. He's been manager for Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Cesaro, Curtis Axel, all kinds of people. He's great on the mic. So he comes out. He says him and Roman trained Solo to be the tribal chief in the future, but the future isn't now. I noticed he kept saying me and Roman. He wasn't saying Roman trained Solo. He said Roman and I trained Solo. And he's making sure people know that he made Solo what he is right now, which I thought was interesting. Solo comes out. Oh, and he also said Solo stole the Uafala out of Roman's bag. People have been asking for months how the hell they got the Uafala. And Paul Heyman said Solo clearly stole it out of Roman's bag, which, I mean, is a weak answer considering how long people have been asking this question, but at least it's an answer, which is more than what you would get when Vince was in charge. Vince would never have answered that question. So Solo comes out. He says, hey, we need somebody who's trustworthy to hold the Uafala during this match on Monday, so you're going to hold it. He said, if Roman beats me, you put that around his neck, and I will acknowledge him as the tribal chief. But if I win, you're putting that around my neck. Roman's acknowledging me as tribal chief, and you will be my wise man forever.
That's why it makes me feel like Roman's going to lose, because I feel like from like a story aspect, they didn't need to go that far. Like, he didn't need to have like if I win, you respecting me. Like, there ain't no more ifs, ands, buts about it. You get on your knees and respect me. Like, to me, if they weren't like a possibility of that happening, they would have just moved past that. There would have been no hyping up for what would happen if he lost. Because, to me, and obviously you watch way more wrestling than me, but from a story aspect, it feels like they're setting one up for Paul to like be what he's doing with Roman to him. Yeah. And then I feel like Roman will have to like either, I don't know, is Roman ever talking about retiring or anything like that?
who knows with Roman? He's on such a part-time schedule. I've heard a lot of different reasons why that is. He played football for a long time. He has a lot of injuries. He dealt with multiple bouts of leukemia. He has like 100 kids. So you never, he's dabbled in Hollywood a little bit. So you never really know with Roman what his plans are.
I guess to me, and maybe you can answer this question more than I can, are they setting Roman up to have like a full-blown like redemption arc? Not necessarily a redemption arc because he's already on top, but like him falling from grace and being built back up. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, that's what they did at WrestleMania, him losing the title. So here's the thing. At WrestleMania, it was him and Cody. It was the most overbooked mess of a match in the best way. Everybody came out. The Usos, Sammy.
Didn't The Rock come out?
With The Rock, The Undertaker.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
I know. I saw like The Undertaker, like the lights went out, came on, and then he was on the ground. They didn't even show The Undertaker, did they?
Yeah, they showed him. Yeah, he showed up behind The Rock. Okay. But Seth was out there in the old Shield attire that him and Roman were in. And there's a big... We'll do a video on it sometime out getting you to watch the whole Shield thing. But Seth turned on Roman. He ruined the Shield. So at the end of the match, Roman had to choose either get back at Seth or keep his title. He chose the revenge on Seth. That was his falling from grace moment. This whole year has been his redemption arc with Solo taking the bloodline from him. I don't know who's going to win this. My common sense tells me it's going to be Roman. But
as a stupid outsider looking in, it feels like to me they're setting up this dude to beat Roman, and then it's going to be a like a Paul thing where it's like, I'm the person in charge now. Roman's gonna have to like fight his way to not only like get the redemption to that dude still in like the garment thing that was around his neck, but also getting the redemption of like losing Paul as a manager. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, Solo definitely needs Heyman more than Roman does. Solo's obviously still working on his promos. Insta Ulafala, get it right, sir. All right. But yeah, no, I don't know. Common sense tells me Roman's gonna win, but between the Drew stuff and this
when is this stuff,
Monday? Yep, this is Monday. We'll go over the Raw review at the end of the show.
They kind of did a like a mini like pay-per-view for that Netflix debut.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go over it at the end of the show because it really is. It's close to a pay-per-view. So then they do the Motor City Machine Gun promo, which is great. Again, they're giving these tag teams. Oh my God, love them. They're giving these tag teams meaty stories that matter, and Motor City Machine Guns are exciting. DIY is exciting. I can't wait to see where the story goes. Then we have the tag title match between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. Like Attic said, the Motor City Machine Guns are so fun to watch. DIY is fun to watch. There's a lot more Ciampa than Gargano in this match, so we'll see what he's feeling about DIY in the coming weeks because Ciampa's slower. He does a lot more ground wrestling than Johnny Wrestling does. But the tag title match was fun. Ended in no contest, pretty deadly. Humberto Garza ended up fighting into the ring, falling on top of Motor City Machine Guns as they were about to win the titles. I really thought they were about to have them win. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? They're going to be passing these tag titles back and forth like this? This is awesome. And then pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Had to screw up the match. So we'll see, but the at least the Smackdown tag title show has some meaty stories going, and that's what we want. We want good stories. After the tag title match, Nia and Candice talk about Tiffany. They talk about keeping her away from the ring. Candice trying to... I mean, she ended up being right, but trying to pull that wedge between Nia and Tiffany. Then we had Sammy and Carmelo. Carmelo saying Sammy and Braun Strowman can both get it. The Usos coming in, asking him if he had a problem. And then Jay walking into Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens telling Jay he needs to watch his back. I don't know where they're going with this whole old bloodline, Seth, Drew, Kevin Owens, all being so anti-Roman, and the Usos and Sammy. Like, it's going to be interesting to see where the story goes.
I kind of want to know when something happens to the bloodline, what happens to the new members that what's his name put in it?
Solo? Yeah, that's
like are they just
that's why I feel like Solo has to win, because the Usos and Sammy and Roman are all single wrestlers right now who are just teaming up to take out Solo. The Bloodline's an actual team. I mean, I guess they could split them up, keep a couple on Raw, SmackDown, move a couple to Raw, have Jacob do his own thing, have Tungaloa and Tamatonga stay as a tag team.
You could take over a small country with all those Usos. Right?
That family, there's a lot of them, and there's more. There's Zilla, who's on the Independents. There's Lance, and Hikuleo, who's supposedly signed to NXT. There's a lot of Bloodline still to come.
Are they like the rejects of the family where they don't get a straight golden road to the main show?
No, Solo started in NXT.
Okay, but his family probably got him the opportunity to go straight to NXT too. So
yeah, I mean, really just depends on how much history they have. Like, Jacob made a really big name for himself in MLW. The Gorillas of Destiny, Tungaloa, Tamatonga were really big in New Japan. So Hikuleo doesn't have as much experience. Lance has even less experience. So if they both go to NXT, that's the reason why. It's just more about experience. Cody and Aldis had a little back and forth. Aldis told Cody that if he wasn't going to protect himself, he was. I don't know what that means. We'll see. They need to get Aldis in the ring. He's been doing great as a GM, but we all want to see Nick Aldis kick the hell out of half these guys because he's an incredible wrestler and he's not that old. So then we have the women's title match, Nia Jax versus Naomi. I mean, this is the highlight of the show. Tiffany comes out, says she's going to cash in, hits Naomi with the briefcase, helps Nia win.
She can hit me like that with the briefcase anytime.
She's actually dating a guy that's on the Raw roster, Ludwig Kaiser. And then she talks Naomi into jumping Bianca Belair, takes Nia with the briefcase, takes Candice out. Bianca hits her finisher on Nia. Tiffany gets rid of Bianca, cashes in the briefcase. The prettiest moonsault. 1, 2, 3. It's Tiffy time with the women's championship. And I was losing my mind.
Do you think she deserved that?
Oh, absolutely. So
okay. I don't know if she's like actually put in work or not.
So here's the thing. WWE's been doing these NIL deals where they're signing college athletes, bringing them to NXT.
What they're trying to do is it's like with the Logan Paul thing. They're trying to expand the audience.
Right. And Tiffany was one of those people who just instantly picked it up. She never wrestled before coming to WWE. She came in with this like rich girl, daddy buys me everything character, went into NXT, just took over, got brought up to the main roster, wins Money in the Bank. Like, she's incredible. I love Tiffany Stratton. She's going to be a massive, massive, massive star for many, many years. And WWE's smart with this NIL deals. Get these athletes, even if they're not lifelong wrestling fans, they're athletes. And they need to do something after gymnastics or wrestling or not getting into the NFL or NBA, whatever it may be. So she definitely deserves it, and you saw the crowd reaction. She's going to be a mega star for years to come. There's rumors that she might be wrestling Charlotte at WrestleMania. That will be an incredible match for her, as long as she wins. I'm somebody who definitely got Charlotte for fatigue. It'd be good to see her back, but I don't need her to instantly turn around and take the belt off somebody at WrestleMania. LA Knight addresses attacking Shinsuke. He says they got a U.S. title match next week, so that's going to be good. Shinsuke Nakamura defending his title against LA Knight. I would think Shinsuke is going to win. He hasn't had the belt that long. He won it in November. Yeah, he won it at Survivor Series, so he's had it for a little bit, but keep it on him. LA Knight doesn't need it. And then we have the main event. We had the Bloodline versus the Usos and Sami Zayn. Great match. Tama Tonga is a hell of a wrestler. Jake is a hell of a wrestler. Both Usos, greatest tag team of all time. Sami Zayn, who needs to cut his hair and shave because he looks like a mess. But great match. Solo wins, which makes me think Roman's going to win next week on Monday. But who knows? This is Jimmy's.
Because you said Triple H does things a little bit differently too, so maybe he's trying.
Very different than Vince, and in the best of ways. So I've loved WWE so much more since Triple H took over. Everything I'm not going to say everything. He could do better. He takes his time with stories. He's taking his time with building up characters and stuff like that. So you hear a lot of people complain about the women's division. You hear a lot of people complain about the tag division. But if you pay attention, he's slowly working towards getting these, getting them up. I would say my biggest gripe. What's up?
I was going to say, do you think that he goes a lot of perspective on like he runs the company from because like even with Vince, like Vince wrestled, but he was never like a full blown wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like he did promos, he did matches, but would you consider like Vince an actual wrestler?
No.
I feel like Triple H, the reason he takes longer on the promos, the reason he takes longer on the storylines is because he's wrestling from the perspective of an actual wrestler. This said, damn, when I was doing this, I wish they would have took longer to build me up with these certain stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a wrestler.
And that's going to keep his that's going to keep his talent happy.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Right now, this has been a very positive review with SmackDown. It was a good show. It was the first one with me and Attic. It's the first one we're doing a show on. You will hear the negatives when I don't like something. Some of these feuds, especially on Raw, have been going on way too long. I'm over the Judgment Day and Damian Priest. I'm over the Liv and Rhea. There's some of them I wasn't a big fan of the Gunther losing his confidence. But, if it's good, I'm going to say it's good. If it's crap, I'm going to say it's crap. And it was just a good episode of SmackDown, which, frankly, is why we decided to start on this one, because it was a good show to start. Title change, first 3-hour show. It was a solid episode. Was it incredible? No. Frankly, I thought they were going to do more for it being the 3-hour show. But Tiffany winning and the matches they had, this was their base for saying, hey, this is what we're doing. The shows are going to be better now that they're longer. It looks like they might be moving Drew and Sammy, especially to SmackDown, which will be good because they're feuding with the Bloodline and everything like that. I'd like to see Cody separated from Bloodline. I'd like if they're going to keep all the Bloodline stuff on SmackDown, move Cody to Raw, move Gunther to SmackDown. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to keep Cody around the Bloodline stuff. But I would like to see Cody move on to something else. So, yeah, I mean, that's the review of SmackDown. SmackDown was a good show this week. What did you think of the show overall for, your first...
Well, considering I haven't really watched wrestling to a degree, now I have seen wrestling, but I've never You know, I've kept up with like certain aspects. I remember I used to like watch it a little bit when The Rock came back that one time and had that feud with John Cena because I felt like that was interesting. I felt like the pacing was good. You know, I didn't feel like I was gaining like boredom to any kind of like fifth degree or so. Certain matches interest me less than others. I feel like when people do more maneuvers in the air and stuff, like that's more interesting. Like some of the team-based thing was very interesting, but it was an okay experience. I think what misses with me and where I gain a little bit of boredom is not knowing the background of anything. Like to me, it just seems like people are just arguing to argue, but I don't know what boiled them to that point.
Right, yeah. I mean, so there's two kinds of wrestling fans, really. There's the wrestling fans that care a lot more about the in-ring action, and there's the wrestling fans that care a lot more about the story, the drama, the soap opera aspect of it, which frankly that's me. I care a lot more about the story. I want the promos. I want the backstory. I let the story make the match. I don't need 20, 30-minute matches on every Raw and SmackDown. Those are pay-per-view matches. Give me the story. Give me the drama. Give me the reason to want to see this person beat the hell out of this person.
Build up.
I want the build-up, right? There's some people that could go without promos and just have match after match after match.
I don't get them. I don't get them.
It's not my kind of wrestling. Like, that's why.
That's what it was yesterday. I just saw match after match after match. But since I didn't have the build-up, a lot of it didn't hit. Like,
right, and that's why it's gonna be interesting to watch AEW because they're doing decently better with some stories, but AEW is a lot of matches, but it's a lot of like high spots, a lot of flips, a lot of crazy maneuvers. So that'll be interesting to see your aspect of it. But listen, you guys, this is the show. We're gonna do reviews of Raw on Monday. We're gonna watch it. Then we're going to do the review right after the show, get it out that night. We're going to do Dynamite, and we're going to do SmackDown. We're going to watch the pay-per-views live on YouTube, so you can come and watch it with us. Obviously, we can't put the pay-per-view on the screen, but you can watch the pay-per-view and watch it with us. We'll eventually get into NXT. Once he's kind of gotten a hang of the characters and stuff, we don't want to overwhelm him with too much. We're eventually going to record us watching the weekly shows, put those on Patreon for people that would want to watch the show with us. We're not going to do that every week for every show and put that on YouTube. That's just... There's no reason.
That's what the demand is.
Right. I mean, if people want to enough, sure. But for right now, we're just going to put it on there. You can come and watch it with us and experience our immediate reactions to any craziness that happens. And that's going to be the show. We're going to do little news at the beginning of the show every week. Again, I read all the dirt sheets. I'm in tune with all that, so... We'll talk about anything that's going on in all the companies. We're going to take baby steps with Attic because he doesn't know who anybody is. So we're going to be doing a lot of explaining at first. But, we'll get there. This is the first show. It's going to bring more energy to the opening next on Monday. Don't you worry. But let's go over the Raw review. So... I want to kind of run over Raw with you, tell you what to expect. Maybe that way you can kind of know what you're looking forward to. So on Raw this week, next week is the first episode of Netflix. 3 hours, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And it might as well be a pay-per-view. Cena's coming out. Cena's going to be there. It's going to be his first show in this farewell tour. We got Liv Morgan defending the women's title against Rhea Ripley, hopefully for the last time. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. We have the tribal combat match between Roman and Solo. It's pay-per-view-esque. I think Rhea probably beats Liv. There's a lot of... how do I word this for you? People have been giving Triple H a lot of flack saying that he's focused too much on Rhea. She looks too strong. They beat the hell out of her with like a baseball bat in the War Games match, and she just walked through it like it was nothing. The story has gone on too long. There's been injuries. There was a botched finish at a pay-per-view. Hopefully this is the last match between them. I would like to see Liv keep the belt because I think Liv's doing great work, but I do think Rhea probably beats her. Punk versus Seth. I think Punk wins. He's been wrestling Gunther on live events and Kaiser on live events, which tells me it might be Punk and Gunther at the Rumble. So you're not going to give him a title shot if he loses to Seth. And Punk beating Seth is just going to drive him more crazy and want him to extend the feud even longer. Roman and Solo, I have no clue who wins that. I have no idea. I think at the end of the day, I'm going to say Roman just because I feel like common sense tells me that's probably going to be the case, but Solo wins. Drew and Jay, that also...
If Solo wins, do you think they're taking the story too long? Is that like an example what you have where they're spending too long on a specific story? Or are you okay with the extension of the story as long as it's good?
No, because I think no matter who wins, they're both going to go on to other things. I think either way, regardless if it's Roman or Solo who wins, they're both going to go their separate ways and do some other stuff for a little bit. I don't know who Solo's wrestling at Mania. Maybe Drew. Maybe if it is Punk and Roman, maybe somehow ends up being Drew and Solo. Maybe Uncle Howdy. Solo.
Uncle Howdy.
You'll see the Wyatt Six on Raw, I'm sure. You'll be into that. That's all production, baby. The Wyatt Six is some great stuff. And yeah, Drew and Jay can go either way, frankly, because both of them could use the win. So we'll see. But that's going to be Monday's show. That's the next show we're going to do. And any last words for the people for our first show?
No, set us out with the outro.
Yeah, we got a Twitter at Over the Ropes. You can follow him.
Oh, we have a Twitter.
Oh yeah, we got a Twitter. I made Twitter this morning, baby. So you can follow us at Over the Ropes. You can follow him at Lord Attic, right? Lord Attic.
Yep. Lord Addict's IOP.
Yep. He also does a lot of gaming stuff. So go ahead and tell them your gaming stuff.
We'll get into that later. I don't really want to get into that the first episode.
Okay. Well, you can follow him if you want to follow video game stuff, and you can follow us on Twitter at Over the Ropes, and we will see y'all Monday. So you guys have a good night.